Alright y'all, so you guys may want to grab a snack because this is going to be kind of a long video and I'm going to be talking pretty much the whole time because it's going to be very informative. So right now I'm just showing y'all my braiding pattern that I used for the back and sides of my crochet locks. This video isn't really about how to crochet it into your hair the normal way. I think we know how to do that by now. And it's just going to be showing y'all how I do the leave out for the individual crochet. So these are the locks that I'm using. They're by Motown Tress. It's their Angels collection, and I absolutely love these because they're curly and they are also goddess locks. So this is my first time using those types of locks. And I also added just a few pieces of this deep wave hair by Motown Tress as well. And so this is what the hair looks like in the back and sides of my head. I just normally crocheted onto the cornrows that I showed y'all. And I got a really nice result with only 4 packs of hair. And I added the color number 1B right in the back. So now I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to part my hair. I'm going to be showing y'all 6 different ways to individually crochet your locks. So I'm going to do 6 sections total. Right now I am splitting it into an even 6th section, a little box here at the top, so that I can get started for the first method. Just clipping the hair out of the way. And now for the first method, I call it the hug method. These names I just kind of came up with as I was editing. This is the first method that I showcased on this channel a year ago, a little over a year ago, so I can't even believe that it's been that long. But yeah, so you're just gonna braid your hair all the way down, or you can braid it like a third of the way and then twist it the rest of the way, which is what I call bristing, so like a braid to a twist. And that's just to kind of protect your hair while it is in the lock. So then just grab your crochet hook and go ahead and insert that underneath the base of that braid, and then attach the crochet lock at the end. Close the latch and pull it through, and then you're going to grab both the lock and the individual braid and pull both of those through the crochet loop. And then go ahead and tighten it at the base there. And now with most crochet locks, they kind of open and close on ya. So they have a pretty nice sturdy shape to them, and they open and close automatically, and we're going to use that to our advantage. And I'm just going to open up the crochet lock in the direction that it's already wrapped, and then we're going to kind of hug your hair, and what that's doing is hiding your real hair inside of the lock because it's pretty hollow. So I call this hugging instead of wrapping. People get really mad at me for that, but this is not wrapping. Like, it's already done for you. Wrapping to me is something totally different, which is what I will actually show a little later in this video. But yeah, this is definitely hugging the hair. There's no tension at all. It's extremely lightweight on your roots. I mean, it's no tension, which is really important when doing protective styles. So that is what it looks like when it's done. This method works the best on straight locks because when you kind of open and close the lock, it kind of ruins the shape a little bit if the locks are curly. I try to scrunch it to get the curl to come back. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It just kind of depends. But yeah, that method works best on straight locks. So now the second method I'm calling the pull method, and it's going to be pretty much the same. Starting off, we're just going to braid or brist your hair all the way down. And I'm going to be going in real time for the majority of this video because I'm only showing each method one time, and I want y'all to kind of get the hang of it, even though the first 3 methods you guys have already seen on this channel before, but the last 3 are new to this channel. So after you got your braid done, I'm just gonna do the same thing, just kind of put the latch hook underneath the base of the braid, grab the crochet lock, pull it through, and then grab both the crochet lock and your braid and pull both of them through the crochet loop and go ahead and tighten that at the base. So the same setup as the last one. This is the second method that I introduced in this channel. It's pretty much the same thing, it's just putting it in the lock is a little bit different. I'm going to pull it through the lock instead of hug it, and I'm going to use the crochet latch hook to do that. So I'm just inserting the latch hook in between the lock, basically just going straight through the middle of the lock all the way up, and you can kind of scrunch the lock as you are going up. And this method works great for curly locks because it doesn't ruin the shape completely. And people also say that this is a little bit faster to them. For me personally, the hug method is faster, but it's really just, it depends on the person. So whichever one works best for you, but I do prefer to use this one for curly locks or wavy locks. So now you're just going to grab the braid towards the end of it, not towards the root, but towards the end, and then go ahead and pull it through with the latch hook. And now I'm going to pull the crochet lock, and it's basically going to like suck in that braid basically. It's kind of cool when you look at it in slow motion. So that is that. Your hair is secure in there. Alright, 2 methods down, 4 more to go. So I'm just going to section the hair again and get ready for this third method. This third method I showed you guys a couple weeks ago. It is the Braided Method. So you're just going to grab your crochet lock. You're just going to grab the loose hair and put it inside of the crochet lock. And now we are going to do a simple 3-strand braid, and we are going to use the crochet lock as the 3rd strand. So this is just basically braiding in the lock. This method works best on locks that are small, and it's easier for your hair to kind of hold a smaller lock. For a large lock, I wouldn't necessarily do this unless you had super large sections. And also it looks best if you use locks that are the same color as your hair. So I did get some comments on my last video on this asking like how would it look if you had locks that are a different color. So this will kind of show you guys how it would look. Now if you cannot get the bottom tail end of your hair to kind of be tight enough around the lock, then you can just kind of twist it and put it inside of the lock. If you have poor grip like I do, then this is a great option for you. So yeah, that is what it looks like. With the lock not being the same color as my hair, you do see the braid a lot more, but it still looks pretty good. So now method 4 is the knotless method. This is going to be a method that I introduced to you guys in a couple videos from now. So what you want to do is take a section and then split that section in half. It doesn't have to be super neat like this, but just split the section in half and then grab the crochet lock. And what you're going to do is put the crochet lock on 1/2 of the section, and now you have it looking like that. And now what you're going to do is braid, just regular 3-strand braid, your real hair. And because you put the lock on 1/2 of the section, it is going to basically keep that lock there at the root with the braid. So I call this the knotless method because you're not having to knot the hair. So it does lay very flat at the end of everything. It lays really flat and nice at the root because there is no knot. And you're not braiding around the lock like the braided method. You're just braiding your hair, and you're just going to braid that all the way down. And now, like the first two methods, we're going to hide your real hair inside of the lock. So you can do either one of the methods. You can either open and close it and hug it, or you can use your latch hook to pull it through. I'm going to use the latch hook because these are curly and I prefer to use that method for curly locks. And then grab your real hair and pull it through, just like method number 2. And there you have it. So like I said, I will have a dedicated video using this method. This is actually probably my favorite method because it just looks really, really nice and flat at the root. So now for method number 5 and 6, what I'm going to do is basically destroy one of the crochet locks by cutting off the goddess part at the end and then kind of separating the hair to kind of mimic Marley hair. You can use Marley hair if you'd like, but I would prefer to use something that is the exact same color, exact same texture as the lock. So that's why I'm just destroying one of the crochet locks to use. So now what you're going to do for this method number 5, which I'm calling the Braided Method, you're just going to attach the lock onto the root in some way. I kind of just did the knotless kind of startup where I'm just twisting the hair in. This is just to hold it in place. You don't have to be super technical with this part. And then you're going to grab the wrapping hair that you just made out of one of the locks. And then you're basically just going to wrap your real hair in the lock until you have covered up your real hair completely. And you're just going to wrap all the way down, and I will have a dedicated video using this method in the near future as well. So it's wrapping all the way down and then wrapping back up to hold it in place. No need to burn it or knot it or anything like that. So this method looks very neat. It definitely looks the most realistic. You don't see any of your hair at all at the root, but it can get pretty time consuming depending on how long your hair is. So now I'm grabbing another piece of Marley hair, aka destroyed crochet lock. And now this is the last method I'm going to show you guys. It is braided wrap-in method. So bear with me with this. I did kind of mess up on it a little bit, but again, I will have a dedicated video showing this method. This method works great with large locks. So these locks are way too small for this method, but I just wanted to show you guys. So you're just going to braid the hair with the Marley hair, just a regular 3-strand braid, using your hair as one of the strands. And you're just going to braid that only as far down as your hair goes. And as you can see up there at the root, I did not grip it well enough at all. I really should have gotten a lot tighter at the root. Mistakes are just lessons. So now I'm just going to kind of taper cut the end because it's a little long. You don't need that much. And now I'm going to grab a crochet lock and just put it on there, right there at the base of the braid. And now you're going to start wrapping the braided hair around the root. So, like I said, this definitely works better for large locks. You can really see the size difference because the locks that I'm using are very small, but with large locks, the size difference would not be an issue at all. It would be like the same size. the root compared to the rest of the lock. So I'm just going to keep wrapping until I get down to where the hair is loose, and then I'm going to start separating it and wrapping back up to cover the braid part, if that makes sense. So you can see that it's a braid, and covering it with the loose hair kind of covers the braid and also makes it a little bit more tight at the root. So this is a great option for people with long hair because you're not having to wrap all the way down depending on how long your hair is. This is also a great method. This one and the last one, method 5 and 6, are also great methods for locks that are not hollow. So I've had that question asked a lot. What do you do when the crochet locks are not hollow? Like if they're handmade and realistic looking and things like that, how do you attach it individually? These last two methods are a great option for that. Just keep on wrapping, and I really should have got it a lot more tight at the root, but you know, you guys kind of get the gist of it. So yeah, that is it. Those are the 6 ways to individually crochet your locks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up before you go. Also, check to see if you are subscribed. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and do that and turn on the notifications so that you guys know when I upload a video. And I will see y'all in my next one. Bye.